Arsenal eliminated the reigning champions Real Madrid in the quarter-finals, winning the first leg 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium and the second leg 2-1 at the Bernabeu for a commanding 5-1 aggregate victory. This impressive performance, particularly against Real Madrid, demonstrated Arsenal's peak form. Reaching the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 16 years has also significantly boosted Arsenal's confidence. After eliminating Liverpool on penalties in the round of 16, PSG knocked out another English side, Aston Villa, in the quarter-finals. PSG won the first leg 3-1 in Paris, and although they took an early 2-0 lead in the return leg at Villa Park, they couldn't hold on to the lead and lost the match 3-2. Nevertheless, their advantage from the first leg secured them a 5-4 aggregate win to reach the semi-finals. While this result showed that PSG's defense can sometimes exhibit significant vulnerabilities, they managed to progress thanks to their attacking power. The Parisian side, who also reached the semi-finals last season, appear to be in good form as they target their first Champions League title in their history. Significant absentees: Arsenal will be without Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Takahiro Tomiyasu for the semi-finals due to injuries. Thomas Partey is also unavailable for the first leg due to suspension. Returns. However, the return of Jorginho and young left-back Ricardo Calafiori to the squad provides a slight boost for Arteta. Both teams have stars with the potential to directly influence the outcome. The matchups between these key players could determine the fate of the match. Bukayo Saka versus Nuno Mendes. Arsenal's right winger Saka is the team's most important weapon with his pace and finishing ability. He virtually secured the qualification by scoring the first goal against Real Madrid. The task of stopping him will fall to PSG's attacking left-back, Nuno Mendes. However, Nuno can sometimes leave gaps in defense, which Saka can exploit to make dangerous runs into the box. Especially when he latches onto diagonal passes from the opposite flank, he could pose a serious threat to PSG's backline. Gabriel Martinelli versus Achraf Hakimi. Arsenal's left winger Martinelli is a game-changing forward when in form. He's known for his rapid dribbling and cutting inside to look for shooting opportunities. Up against him is the attack-minded right-back Hakimi. Since Hakimi often pushes forward, he could leave space behind for Martinelli to exploit. If Martinelli makes use of these gaps, he could cause serious problems for PSG's right flank. On the flip side, Hakimi will look to exploit the space Martinelli leaves behind on counterattacks, making this matchup a two-way battle throughout the game. Martin Odegaard versus Vitinha. Arsenal captain Odegaard is the brain of the midfield. His passing range and ability to dictate the tempo are the foundation of Arsenal's attacking play. On the other side, one of PSG's young midfield dynamos, Vitinha, will aim to stay close to Odegaard, using his pressing ability and technical skills to limit the Norwegian's time on the ball. The battle between Odegaard and Vitinha could decide who controls the midfield. Additionally, with Partey absent, Arsenal might lack some physical presence in the middle, making Odegaard's contribution to defensive duties even more crucial. Declan Rice versus PSG midfield. Rice operates like the defensive anchor of Arsenal and delivered a masterclass performance against Real Madrid in the quarter-finals. However, with Partey unavailable, he'll have to face PSG's technically gifted midfield largely on his own. PSG's playmakers like Fabian Ruiz and João Neves will try to bypass Rice and take control of the game. It will be crucial for Rice to intercept through balls, especially those aimed at Kvaratskhelia and Dembélé, by positioning himself well and breaking up the play. Ousmane Dembélé versus Oleksandr Zinchenko. PSG's right-wing attacks will heavily rely on Dembélé's pace, which is set to keep Arsenal left-back Zinchenko busy throughout the match. Zinchenko, originally a midfielder by nature, prefers to drift inside and help build play. However, when Arsenal are out of possession, he'll be tasked with defending Dembélé. While Dembélé didn't score in the Aston Villa tie, he was a constant threat and played a key role in the final goal with a pre-assist to Nuno Mendes. Any defensive lapse from Zinchenko could give Dembélé the space he needs. Arsenal might have considered a more defensive option on that flank, such as Tierney or Calafiori for a more traditional fullback role. But with Tierney unavailable and Calafiori lacking experience, Zinchenko is likely to start, giving PSG a potential edge in this matchup. Kvaratskhelia versus Ben White, PSG's left forward. Kvaratskhelia is a highly dangerous player in one-on-one situations, combining excellent dribbling skills with a strong shooting threat. His stunning goal against Aston Villa, struck beautifully from outside the box, showcased that ability. Arsenal's right-back Ben White, originally a centre-back, is a disciplined defender. He will try to prevent Kvara from cutting inside and instead force him wide toward the touchline. The outcome of this duel will largely determine how productive PSG can be down the left flank. Additionally, since White likes to push forward, the space he may leave behind could be exploited by Kvara on dangerous counterattacks. Aside from these key matchups, the goalkeepers, Ramsdale versus Donnarumma, and set pieces will also play a crucial role. For example, in the last match against Real Madrid, Arsenal scored goals from set pieces delivered by Declan Rice. On the other hand, PSG poses a threat through Marquinhos' headers during corners and long-range shots from Fabian Ruiz outside the box. Both teams have technically gifted and dangerous attacking players, but given the importance of a semi-final clash, a cautious start is likely in the first leg. Arsenal, playing at home, will look to take control of the game. Arteta's side favors possession-based football and aims to settle into the opponent's half with quick passing combinations. Especially at the Emirates, backed by a passionate crowd, they may press high from the opening minutes in search of an early goal. In the Premier League as well, Arsenal often starts with high intensity and tries to score in the first half. In this match, they are expected to press high up the pitch to prevent PSG from building comfortably from the back. Under Luis Enrique, PSG has become a team that enjoys dictating the tempo of the game. With playmakers like Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz in midfield, they aim to maintain a high share of possession. However, as seen in their recent match against Aston Villa, they are also well suited for quick transitions. With counter-attacking weapons like Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia, PSG might opt to let Arsenal have the ball and strike through rapid breaks. Enrique, familiar with the 4-3-3 system from his Barcelona days, now has young talents capable of playing a more direct style. As a result, PSG's approach can be described as controlled aggression, building from the back with short passes, quickly transitioning through midfield, and connecting with their attacking trio. Tactical strategies. Arsenal will likely try to force PSG into mistakes by applying high pressing. They executed this approach very effectively against Real Madrid, constantly pressuring their midfield as they tried to build from the back and forcing turnovers. If PSG faces similar pressure, they could make defensive errors, as they occasionally struggled under Aston Villa's pressing. On the other hand, if PSG manages to bypass Arsenal's press, they could gain numerical superiority in midfield and start to dominate possession. With Partey absent, Arsenal's midfield resistance may be weakened, and PSG will look to exploit that area to take control of the game. In terms of possession, PSG might edge it slightly, but Arsenal won't play a completely defensive game at home either. Arteta's side knows how to be dangerous in transition when needed. One of Arsenal's key plans will be to release Saka and Martinelli into open spaces to catch PSG's defense off guard. Similarly, PSG will look to exploit the space behind Arsenal's backline through the runs of Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia. The absence of Gabriel in Arsenal's central defense could be felt, and PSG may target that area with quick attacks. Possession versus quick transitions. This will be one of the key tactical questions of the match. On paper, PSG has the stronger midfield and may take control of possession. Arsenal, on the other hand, could opt for a more direct approach, aiming to strike through quick wing attacks. With the first leg being played at the Emirates, Arsenal will be eager to win without conceding, which might lead them to adopt a more balanced, risk-averse game plan. Still, with the support of their home crowd, they will want to capitalize on any momentum they build during the match. Pressing and defensive strategies. While pressing high up the pitch, Arsenal will aim to maintain a compact defensive shape in their own half. They gave away very few clear chances across both legs against Real Madrid, proving they can defend with discipline as a unit. PSG, on the other hand, has shown defensive vulnerabilities at times. Even while leading 2-0 against Villa, they failed to maintain their advantage, revealing lapses in defensive focus. As a result, PSG might approach this match more cautiously, avoiding committing too many players forward. Especially away from home, they may prioritize defensive solidity, knowing that even a draw wouldn't be a bad result. In conclusion, from a tactical perspective, Arsenal's high pressing and fast wing attacks are likely to be their key strategies, while PSG will focus on gaining midfield dominance and creating chances through creativity. Since both teams are expected to line up in similar 4-3-3 formations, the outcome of individual matchups will play a crucial role in determining which tactical approach succeeds. Aware of how important the first leg result is before the return match, both managers may opt for a more cautious, risk-averse approach rather than taking bold risks. Key areas, strengths, and weaknesses. Both teams have the potential to dominate in different areas of the pitch. Here's a breakdown of Arsenal and PSG's standout strengths and their vulnerabilities compared to each other. Arsenal's strengths. 1. Wing play. The duo of Saka and Martinelli is extremely dangerous in open space. Saka often cuts inside from the right to shoot or assist, while Martinelli uses his speed to drive to the byline on the left. Arsenal can exploit the gaps left by PSG's attacking fullbacks with rapid wing attacks, just as they did successfully against Real Madrid. Second, organized defense. Under Arteta, Arsenal has developed strong defensive discipline. They defend compactly as a unit, closing down space effectively. During their 5-1 aggregate win over Real Madrid, their defensive structure stood out. Led by Saliba, Arsenal's backline will aim to limit PSG's attacking stars by closing down available space. 3. Long shots and set pieces. Arsenal has players capable of scoring from outside the box. Captain Odegaard and Declan Rice are both known for testing the keeper from range when given space. Rice scored twice from free kicks in the first leg against Real Madrid. Arsenal may once again look to trouble Donnarumma with shots from distance or well-executed set plays. 4. High tempo and pressing. Playing with the high intensity of the Premier League gives Arsenal an edge. Paris Saint-Germain, used to more relaxed Ligue 1 games, might struggle under sustained pressing. Backed by a loud home crowd at the Emirates, Arsenal is likely to start the match with high energy and aggressive pressing to unsettle PSG. Arsenal's weaknesses. 1. Defensive absences. Missing key defenders like Gabriel and Tomiyasu reduces Arsenal's defensive depth. Gabriel's absence in particular could hurt in aerial duels and physical battles. Against PSG's strong forwards, a less experienced option like Kiwior could be tested. 2. Lack of midfield toughness. Partey's suspension weakens Arsenal's midfield physically. Rice will have to carry most of the burden alone. If PSG controls the midfield, Arsenal could struggle to stay competitive in that area. Also, without a player like Partey, Arsenal lacks someone who can break up counters with tactical fouls. 3. Limited striker options. With Jesus and Havertz unavailable, Arsenal has few options up front beyond Nketiah. While energetic, Nketiah lacks experience at this level and may struggle against PSG's defense. If Arsenal needs a goal late in the game, the lack of attacking alternatives off the bench could limit their options. PSG's strengths. 1. Attacking variety and star power. Despite losing Mbappé, PSG has developed a more versatile attack. With speedy wingers like Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia who can beat defenders one-on-one, and Kolo Muani making deep runs, plus Fabian Ruiz offering long shot danger, PSG can score through both build-up play and counter-attacks. They're considered one of the most productive attacking sides in the competition. Second, midfield control. The trio of Vitinha, Neves, and Fabian excels at ball retention and passing. They manage tempo well and make smart decisions under pressure. On paper, PSG's midfield appears stronger than Arsenal's, giving them the potential to dictate the flow of the game, especially in an away match where they'll look to neutralize the home crowd. 3. Fullback support in attack. Both PSG fullbacks, Hakimi and Nuno Mendes, are active contributors in attack. Hakimi often makes deep, overlapping runs into the box, while Nuno Mendes races down the left flank to deliver crosses. If Arsenal's wingers fail to track back, PSG's fullbacks could create numerical advantages in the final third. Experience and confidence. This is PSG's second consecutive Champions League semi-final, and they appear more comfortable at this level. With leaders like Marquinhos, Donnarumma, and experienced coach Luis Enrique, the team knows how to handle big moments. In contrast, some Arsenal players are experiencing a Champions League semi-final for the first time, which PSG may look to exploit. PSG's weaknesses. 1. Defensive vulnerabilities. Despite their attacking prowess, PSG has struggled to keep clean sheets. Conceding 3 goals in the second leg against Aston Villa exposed their defensive frailties. While Marquinhos leads the backline, Skriniar is still finding form, and when the fullbacks push forward, space is left behind. Arsenal's fast attackers could exploit this, particularly as PSG's centre-backs can be slow to react to balls in behind. 2. Inconsistency and concentration. PSG sometimes loses control during matches. For example, they led 2-0 at Villa Park, but conceded 3 goals in 18 minutes due to lapses in focus. Such moments can be punished by efficient teams like Arsenal. Additionally, PSG tends to be less dominant away from home. This will be their third trip to England this season, having lost to both Liverpool and Aston Villa. 3. Errors. Under high press, PSG's build-up from the back can be risky under pressure. Donnarumma doesn't inspire much confidence with his feet, and midfielders like Vitinha and Fabian sometimes lose the ball when pressed aggressively. If PSG can't handle Arsenal's press, they may gift dangerous turnovers that lead to scoring chances. In summary, Arsenal will rely heavily on wing play and collective defending, while PSG will trust their attacking quality and midfield control. Arsenal may look more energetic at home, but PSG's experience and individual brilliance can help them seize control at key moments. The team that best exploits its strengths against the other's weaknesses is likely to emerge with the advantage. Expected goals and key moments. Given that this match features 2 offensively strong teams, the expectation for goals is high. Arsenal's recent European matches have been high-scoring, like the 5-goal tie with Real Madrid, and the PSG Villa tie saw 9 goals across 2 legs. Fans should anticipate another entertaining, goal-filled game. First-half expectations. A cautious, measured approach is likely at the start of the first leg. Both teams will want to avoid conceding early. The first 15 to 20 minutes may be about feeling each other out, with a lower chance of early goals. That said, early goals are still possible. PSG scored in the 11th minute against Villa, and Arsenal were 2-0 up in the first half against Real. If a goal does come early, it will likely result from a set piece or a quick transition. Second half expectations. If the game is still scoreless by halftime, the tempo is expected to rise after the 50th minute. From the 60th minute onward, both teams may start taking more risks. Statistically, many Champions League goals come between the 60 to 75 and 75 to 90 minute marks. Arsenal scored in the 65th and 90-plus third minutes to eliminate Real, while PSG scored early in the second half against Villa. Based on these trends, the likelihood of goals increases in the second half. Will there be goals? Most likely, yes. Both sides have strong attacking units and vulnerabilities in defense. Paris Saint-Germain has scored at least 2 goals in each of their last 5 European matches, and Arsenal has also been productive offensively. A 0-0 seems unlikely, based on the playing styles of both teams. The game could end 1-1 or 2-1, while a goalless draw or a one-sided scoreline like 3-0 seems less probable. Decisive periods. The most likely windows for goals are early in the second half, 45 to 60 minutes, and the final 15 minutes. Substitutions, fatigue, and lapses in concentration could lead to goals during these phases. Since the away goals rule no longer applies, teams may push for a late winner rather than settling for a draw.